Your Daily 180, 180 seconds of pure Bible study.
Thank you for being with us today for this, your Daily 180 Bible study. This week we're looking at James chapter 4, verses 13 through 17. And we've looked at the idea in verse 13 and 14 of the individual who's making plans without God. And I want you to notice verse 15. This is the attitude that should characterize every child of God. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we shall live and do this or that. We need to be keeping God at the center of all our plans, all our actions, all our activities. And to do that, one of the things that we need to do is have faith in the providential care of God. We think to ourselves, if it's going to get done, it's got to be all up to me. Well, listen, we need to be active. And we need to be doing everything that we can in our life to do that which is good and right and in accordance with the will of God. But we also need to remember, ultimately, we're dependent upon the providence of God. Let me share a few verses with you that should be very encouraging to every individual living in such a way to be faithful to God. Romans chapter 8, verse number 28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. Now, I know that verse does not say all things are good. And I won't pretend that for a moment. The verse says all things work together for good. You know, if you're a faithful child of God, in the worst possible circumstances, God can use that somehow to glorify him, to expand the borders of the kingdom, to bless you so you can be a more faithful child of God. And we need to realize it's okay. It's okay. Something good can result from this terrible situation. It doesn't mean the situation's good, but God can bring about something good from them. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse number 13 also points to the providence of God. Listen to this wonderful, marvelous promise that God gives to Christians. No temptation is overtaking you except such as is common to man, but God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will also make the way of escape, that you may be able to bear it. Now, someone says, but how does God do that? I don't know. Somehow he's behind the scenes, beyond just the realm of what we can see, and God's making sure, I'm not going to let you be tempted beyond what you're able. Sometimes people say, I just couldn't help it. I had to sin. Not true. You don't have to. God's there trying to protect you and help you in every way. God's in charge, and we need to have faith in his providential care. Join us again tomorrow for your Daily 180.